Hi there, March 6th, and we are going to look at an illegal abortion death from 1945. And this was a 36-year-old married woman named Beatrice. And she and her husband, Lyle, had three living children, ages 14, 13, and 4. And at around 1937, Beatrice had gone to a woman in Seattle for a successful abortion. So around March 4th of 1945, Beatrice told her husband that she was pregnant again and that she was going to go to Seattle and have that same woman perform an abortion. For some reason, she took her 4-year-old daughter with her, took $100 in cash, and drove to Seattle and stopped on the way at her mother-in-law's home to pick her up. And while she was there, she called a Dr. T and spoke to him about having an abortion done. Um, so Beatrice called her husband saying that she hadn't been able to reach the original female abortionist, but she was going to go to a Dr. T. So Beatrice, her mother-in-law, and the little girl went to Dr. T's office, and he wasn't available, but the nurse gave Beatrice a business card from Dr. T, but on the back she wrote the name of Dr. Frank C. Hart, along with his address in the Joshua Green building. So Beatrice and her mother-in-law and the little girl went to Hart's office, where they found a waiting room full of women, but no nurse. Um, Hart came into the waiting room and announced, "5 of you women that came in just now leave, and those of you here yesterday remain." So um, Beatrice sent her daughter and her mother-in-law out, and she stayed. So she started home at around 5 p.m. She stopped at her mother-in-law's house and said she had a headache. She was perspiring heavily, and her mother-in-law, following Dr. Hart's instructions, gave Beatrice some black tea and put a hot water bottle under her back. And that's when she noticed that Beatrice's genitals had been bandaged. Now, Beatrice stayed in bed for about 45 minutes and got up for dinner with her in-laws and left for home at around 8:30. But the following morning, she told her husband she was going back to Dr. Hart to have some blood clots removed. She took her daughter again stopped and picked up her mother-in-law. They went, had lunch, went to Dr. Hart's office, and Beatrice started to report chest and arm pain, and her face was flushing red. So once again at Hart's office, they found the waiting room full of women with no nurse, and again, Hart announced that those who were there for the first time were to leave and the rest were to remain. He took Beatrice into the office. Her mother-in-law said she's very concerned about Beatrice, but Fisher told her there's no place for relations and children. Meet her downstairs in the lobby. So, expecting her daughter-in-law to be ready in about 20 minutes, she went to do some shopping. And when she came back to the building, she found a crowd of people gathered in the lobby near the flower shop. And she approached the group and she found Beatrice just lying dead on the ground. The autopsy determined that Beatrice had been about 2 months pregnant, and there were clear signs that someone had performed a D&C on her. And her uterine wall had been gouged in several places. Clots had formed over the gouges. And the coroner concluded that one of those clots had broken loose and formed an embolism that had made its way to Beatrice's lung and causing her death. So this is not at all an uncommon cause of abortion deaths, legal or illegal. Hart was arrested. He showed authorities around his premises, gave them instruments to take into evidence, including forceps and irrigating curettes. When questioned, he said he didn't keep patient records and didn't give receipts. And he was convicted of abortion and manslaughter in Beatrice's death. The only thing that really would have changed for Beatrice had abortion been legal is that Dr. Hart wouldn't have been in any trouble, because these things um, these things happen all the time and nobody ever gets in trouble for them.